In this movie, when you were at home preparing, you also cook shirtless. Look, if I looked like you, I would cook shirtless and make sure to put that on screen. Do you cook shirtless at home, or do you have like a apron or something you put on?
Yeah, no, it depends. If it's hot and summer, I'm always like to be around light and sun. I like to get that sun, that vitamin D. So I don't have a problem to be shirtless. And if I'm cooking a barbecue or whatever, cool.
All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Marko Zaror talking about Affinity, which comes to digital on September 30th, 2025. It is an emotional action movie with a great cast, some intense martial arts action, and some drama along the way. I am very excited to talk to you about this film and hear more about, how you came up with this story and the development of this. So thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, man.
Of
Appreciate it.
course, of course. So you helped write the story and the script for this. I mean, was this something that you've been thinking of? Was this something that you came in to help kind of flesh out? How did that process come about?
Yeah, well, this started from, me. Since I started my career, I've been kind of like a co-creator of content with next to Ernesto, the Diaz that we started with Kiltron, Mirage Man, and I just had this idea of what's gonna happen with all this science and technology, AI, when humans start creating other humans or like robots, and then like all that little question raised the question of are we gonna be able to create affinity between two human beings artificially? Is that possible, right? And that's the big question that I was like, wow, this is interesting because it's like we can create someone exactly the same that, has a certain personality, right? But then how you can create that connection between two human beings, right? That's the big dilemma. And I wanted to, okay, how I can tell this story into a martial arts story. And then I am like, well, I was based on the movies that I liked, like Taken. I like the movies where the audience it's writing the story right next to the protagonist. Like the audience is not just looking, the full picture, right? Is they're just there with the main guy on the right. So that's what those are the specific elements that I wanted to tell this story, and how I wanted to tell this story. And so I wrote the script. I had this idea. I have some collaborators to help me to develop this and to put it into a script, and then and then we just happened to have the opportunity to make the movie, and every detail for me was very important because the casting and how we shoot it, how we put the camera, where to put the camera, so the audience is always revealing, they're always discovering things as Bruno is discovering things. And
Mhm.
it's not happening where Bruno discovers something that maybe the audience doesn't know, or vice versa, or the audience they know something before he knows something. That was a big challenge. And that was the fun challenge of this movie, I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love that point that you brought. Like the nucleus of this movie is like we can create copies, theoretically cloning will be something in the future, but like how do you create that connection? How, is that something in your DNA? Is that something that's like built through experiences? Is that something in between? I think that's a really interesting question, and I'm glad that you were kind of exploring that in this movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you said that
Yeah.
your production
Yeah,
company kind of like spearheaded this movie, right? So this was just something that you kind of like took from the start and just kind of went all the way through to production to the final film. Is that something that you or that's kind of how the process went, right?
yeah, well, I start the idea, I developed the script, then it was a big gap where it didn't happen. But then the producer, investor kind of came back and said, hey, Marco, let's do this movie. So then I kind of put my conditions and I wanted to make the movie the way I wanted to make it, right? So that was like the common, arguments we have with producers, right? So but I was a producer too, so I have a lot of freedom to do the movie, to have to put the vision that I had on this movie. And then that's why I brought my team, my brother Ernesto, to finish the movie, the post especially for the music and the sound, and all my team in Chile, and then the action and all that, and then the casting. I was involved in all that, in locations, and I was very involved because I had a very clear vision of what I wanted in the movie, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I assume you were always going to play Bruno. Were the rest of the cast, were they people you'd worked with, other martial artists that you'd either like been in movies with or trained with before? How did you find the people to be in this film?
Yeah, for example, Louis was a big friend of Brandon, the director that came on board to help me put this together, and he then also introduced me to Nicolo, the DP. Then we start creating the team, and then the other actors. Brooke was one of the producers. Ardell Noor showed me the girl, and I was like, wow, that because that role originally was a male character.
Oh, interesting.
And suddenly he's like, "Hey, what about this?" And he showed me this, and it's like, "Marco, what about this? Like, what happened if this role is a girl, but it's a girl that is tough?" I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." So yeah, we actually adapt the script, and we co-create the script with all the elements we had in Thailand. There was the locations also change the movie a lot because the script was written to be in an island and it was more at the beach. But because of logistics,
Mhm.
when I talked with production, they told me, Marco, to go to the beach is too complicated, blah, blah, blah. We're going to spend a lot of money on moving around and we're not going to have the money maybe to put it in the fights or whatever. It's like, okay, what about if what about the river? Like, and then they're offering me, oh, wow, we can tell the same story, but instead, so all those adjustments, were part of co-creating this movie without having to change much the overall story. And I'm very happy. I'm actually happy. Those things, for me, it actually were very good for the movie. If I see the original script and the locations and the look, how it turned out to be, I'm so much happier, of how it came out.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
definitely.
and then Brahim, is a friend of mine, really great martial artist. I was lucky that he was around and he was able to take that role, and you know, magic happens when you're
Yeah.
making a movie, things start connecting it's like the movie start having his own life.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and then you just need to ride this boat and you're like just making the right decisions and just follow that and trust.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Everything kind of came together, and even though there were changes, it made it a stronger project. I love hearing that. For a movie like this, with you're an experienced martial artist, you have other experienced martial artists in there. Did you have like a fight choreographer? Or did you just kind of do your own choreography because you were able to, and it's an indie film, so you want to like limit the number of people and whatnot and the budget?
Yeah. Well, no, in this case, I had a lot of the Thai people, the Thai stunt team, they were amazing, and we co-create kind of together. And because in this one I was so much involved in production and the directing and all that with Brandon, so I was I left there to come to create stuff, and of course then I jump in and I make the adjustments and I adapt the choreography to me and to the character, right? But we worked together with the stunt team there that were amazing. They did an amazing job, but it's always the way it works. Like you arrive to a movie, they have a choreography, but then you as a character, as an actor, you start adapting that choreography to your style or your character. It's
Mhm.
part of the process.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I know we have limited time and you have a busy schedule. I'm going to switch to just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question, you
Or
play an ex-Navy SEAL in this movie. Were you ever in the military, in some sort of military?
no, no.
Uh, Okay. Yep, all right.
So,
This movie
I didn't
also,
decide. I should answer very quick.
yeah,
I
either
should
way.
answer very quick. I should repeat the.
Oh,
Okay,
just
okay. You don't know.
yeah, it's
I haven't had experience in the military. Yeah.
oh, perfect. This movie takes place. A pivotal scene starts kind of in a nightclub. When was the last time you were in a nightclub? Are you a nightclub kind of person?
No, I'm not really a nightclub kind of person. I go once in a while, yeah, just to change it to break the routine.
Yeah, just get a little
But I don't
excitement, right?
drink, so I always go for a little bit.
Yeah.
I just go, I always want to sleep early. So I try
That's
to go early and then I leave early.
that's a good philosophy. Make sure to go to sleep before any trouble starts. This movie also has like prominent flowers. Do you grow any flowers? Do you have any like flower bushes or fields or anything like that?
No, but I have a deep connection with nature and with trees and for me, it's a definitely a magical element. I'm conscious of the beauty of it.
Yeah, perfect. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we kind of need to appreciate it because who knows how much longer we're gonna have this nature around. Um, your
Yeah.
character plays a chef or a cook. What is your go-to meal? What is something that you like are confident you can make, or something that is like a specialty of yours?
Oh, I like steak. I like meat. I have different ways of cooking a good steak, and I have my favorite one is that I put it in a warm temperature, very little, so the meat relaxes a lot until you grab it and it bends like this, like a cloth, right?
Hmm.
And then I throw it straight into the fire, like couple seconds or minutes, one side, the other one to get that crispy, but in the middle is kind of red.
Hmm.
Oh, that's my favorite. It's
That
it's
sounds
very it's hard because you cannot mess it up, but
mhm.
you can mess it up really quick, really easy. But that's my favorite one.
That
Yeah,
sounds delicious. Yeah, you have to have the patience to get it to the right temperature, and then you have to be
yeah,
cautious when you're grilling it to not overdo it. That's awesome.
yeah, exactly.
In this movie, when you're at home preparing, you also cook shirtless. Look, if I looked like you, I would cook shirtless and make sure to put that on screen. Do you cook shirtless at home, or do you have like a apron or something you put on?
Yeah, I know it depends. If it's hot and summer, I'm always like to be around light and sun. I like to get that sun, that vitamin D. So I don't have a problem to be shirtless. And if I'm cooking a barbecue or whatever, cool. Yeah.
That makes sense. Just go with what's happening. So
Yeah.
the movie is coming out on September 30th, 2025. You're out promoting the film, getting the word out. But after people see you in Affinity, what can they look for next from you? Is there anything that you have on the horizon? Maybe Fist of the Condor 2?
Maybe. Oh, I would love to. That's a dream project. So you gotta convince to go for it. I really want to do that movie. Yeah, but no, you guys can check out Dancing in the Ring that is going to release in Chile in all the theaters, and we're looking for a US home. It's a story about a Chilean boxer that fought the world title against Joe Louis in 1940s. So it's a real story. So that's my Rocky movie from Latin America, from Chile.
Oh, that sounds awesome. God, that sounds really good. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes out for that. That sounds fantastic. Hopefully, Welgo picks that up and gets it out. And hopefully, Fist of the Condor 2 comes because I want to know what happens in the rest of that story. It was such a fun,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
surprise movie. So, you can wait for those, but first, check out Affinity coming to digital on September 30th, 2025. This is Marko Zaror. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for
And before you go, can we do like a flexing picture so I can have like the picture for the YouTube video? Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right.